Yo, welcome to the Dave and Juan More Time podcast. Podcasts are like life. It ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep listening to these idiots. This is Dave and Juan.
We're back.
Almost barely. Yeah.
Well, we got it. We got it.
I tell you, we got overconfident last week.
Real cocky. It's all good. We're working. There are people out there that we don't need to hear the technical problems with this thing. I'm Dave.
And I'm Juan.
And this is Dave and Juan.
More time.
There we go. Didn't get fussed this week. Got that part right. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, it's actually back to a morning show this week.
Yeah. We're not about that.
Yeah, well, not quite the morning. We're doing this normally when we'd have been knocking off already, but that's scheduled this week. It's Easter week. I was thinking doing this in the daytime though. We may get a few extra noises. My neighbor's yard crew was firing up a while ago, which is always nice. This is easy. It's when I'm doing official business things. That's always great, right? Yeah, I don't know if you have to do much.
Do you go ask him to stop?
It's not my neighbor; it's a crew. That's the other thing I'm interested doing. I'm always thinking demographics and what's going on and who does what. Do you still mow your own grass?
Yeah, I have a little yard now. We downsize, so I don't even know what it's called. I just say it go. So yeah.
Wait, that's the name of the machine.
That's what I call it. It's like old school. It's not motorized. It's just totally manual.
Are you kidding me?
No,
the
man,
blades. You have a yard small enough that you can cut it with one of those salad making machines.
Yeah. Wow. In about 20 minutes, man.
Oh,
I tell you, we downsized a few years ago. But,
well, I knew that. I didn't.
Yeah.
Why get a yard at all if it's that?
I was gonna just weed because I couldn't get anything without a yard.
You're gonna astroturf it.
I started doing just a weed eater, but the battery on my weed eater lasts about 20 minutes.
I know the feeling.
And it takes about 22 minutes to weed eat the whole thing.
And then you just sort of, do you have the patience to recharge it or just leave that little patch?
No, I leave it. I try to recharge it when I'm done. So, next week.
Just miss that little patch.
This was when we first moved here, you're talking about grass stuff. The funny thing, again, my yard is, 8 feet wide, max. And when I lived in my previous home, the property line, so to speak, was probably the most often cut place because I never wanted to be the neighbor who just stopped right at the property line. So I'd cut a couple of times into their yard. They'd do the same thing, cut a couple of times.
Well, you had good neighbors. Okay.
So when I moved here, I did the same thing. Well, about the third week, the girl who lived next door said, could you stop cutting my line? Well, I said, well, what if?
Howdy, neighbor.
Yeah, if you want to cut mine, you knock yourself out.
Well, let me tell you, when you're dealing with a yard crew, they won't cut an inch into the neighbor's yard. Like I did this last week. I mowed my own yard, and I'm pretty much the same, right? It's a pretty clear line where, and I get on fantastic with the neighbors, but he's not cutting his own grass. It's a crew. And I don't know. I guess I might have not quite got to the line. I literally 2 inches, 3 inches. That yard crew left a 3-inch stretch of grass when they left, and that's almost in your face. You want to go out there and say, "Are you serious, guys?" But
time is money, man. That was their time.
And everybody's got a job to do.
Years ago, there was a guy, and I used to get real anal about the way my yard was done. and a guy had bought the house next door, but he was working on it and hadn't moved in. And so I cut his grass. Well, then a couple of weeks later, he was going to return the favor and cut my grass. And I hear somebody cut my grass, and it's like, oh no, dude, no, I got you. No, I'm good, man. I'm good. Trust me.
You don't understand. That's like walking up to somebody who's grilling, and no.
Yeah.
Unless you are invited to step up to the grill, you don't be flipping anything on the grill.
Yeah. It's like I got my way, man.
You can't just leave the grass trimmings everywhere because the HOA is gonna get on you. You love the HOA, right?
Dude, my HOA, it's not the HOA itself.
That's the Homeowners Association.
Yeah,
by
for
the
those
way,
people who don't live in a subdivision.
who have not been blessed. I didn't know what it was till we
Yeah.
got here. I mean, I was in my 40s before I started dealing with an HOA.
There's a guy who used to be on the board, and it's like this guy's life calling to be on the HOA board.
Most of them are.
And he is, if they're ever an HOA Nazi, this dude is that. He hadn't been on the board in 2 years. So now his calling is to criticize everything that the board does or doesn't do. And he documents it in photographs. And then we'll take a picture, and then 3 weeks later, go take another picture and post it on the neighborhood Facebook page to share that it hasn't been done. But when we moved here, he was the president or chair of HOA. The guy, and still does, patrols the neighborhood. Now I live in a gated area, so he's not. And I say gated because it's gated to the extent that you just wait for somebody else to open the gate and then you follow them.
Yeah, it's false sense of security, but okay.
Yeah. But so it's not like he's riding around looking for perpetrators or anything.
No.
But he just tries to ride around and look for things that are wrong. A month or so after we got here, we moved in December 1st. So, pretty much middle of winter. My wife had just put some new, I don't know, thing on the door, whatever you call those things, a wreath or some decoration.
It's called, so wait. It's technically called a wreath.
Well, it doesn't have to be round.
Right. Okay.
Well, I guess, I don't know. I think of a wreath as round, but I digress to ignorance.
She put a door decoration up.
Some fancy thing on the door. Well, so we see this dude in our front yard taking pictures. She's all excited, thinking somebody likes the door decoration.
Honey, we gonna get yard of the month.
There was a couple of weeds on the side of the house. The dude's taking pictures of it in like January to write us up for not having cut our grass.
Yeah, it's
to that extent.
But people, and it's a blessing and a curse, okay? Because we talk about this often when we get back down on the bayou, where there are some neighborhoods back there now. I'm always amazed when I drive the few times I'm there now, but some beautiful house. I mean, some, cane pastures, empty fields when I grew up now have these the big mansions on them. So it's really, so they may have HOAs now. Of course, when we grew up, ain't no such thing as an HOA. And that can be a problem because people do ridiculous things, right? Ridiculous things. And
you can have a shed home next to a mansion.
You can put, and I'm not even talking about that. That's what I'm talking about. You could raise pigs. Growing up, we had folks that had a pig pen, not all that far from us. That's not exactly great for property values. The time we lived up in Georgia, we had to learn that when we're looking for homes up there, and it's a beautiful area. Georgia gets an interesting, people think of Georgia as being deep south, and I guess think of the plains in the south, and that's but once you get north of Atlanta, it's gorgeous. The mountains mountain ranges.
Yeah, it's rolling
beautiful.
Hills and everything.
But up where we were, one of the biggest industries was poultry, and brother, poultry plants. Look, man, enjoy that chicken you having, because it's when the wind's blowing the wrong way. And they would tell you that if you were looking at certain neighborhoods, it could be beautiful, but you always wanted to see what's on the other side of the hill or the mountain, because you might have a poultry situation. And look, I just thought it smelled like dog food when they were processing things. If you can remember, if you know what if you ever opened up a bag of, say, just the good old Purina dog chow, it's not an awful smell. You know what I'm saying? It won't make
But
you.
it's just not a right smell.
It's not like you walk out on a beautiful spring day and say, oh, here, give me Purina is in the air. And I remember complaining about it one time to an older guy in town when we were there. And he's a great guy. He had back in the day where they still had a few gas stations where they come out and pump you gas for you, and they just do that, right? And I was complaining about it. A beautiful day, but it was I could smell the poultry stuff. I was like, man, I can't believe it. And he just looked at me, son. Around here, that's the smell of money. And I said, yeah, you got it. Touche, man. That's spot on. Think about what we did to kill time.
What's the alternative?
I went from playing with sticks to my number one toy being a 20 gauge shotgun. And it seemed like it happened in about maybe a 6 month period. Yeah, about back in those days. I forget how fast it was from my first BB gun to pellet gun to shotgun. And I know flat out I got far more instruction from my dad on that BB gun than I ever did on the shotgun. I don't even know if he ever saw me shoot the shotgun. It might have been it was a Christmas present. Here you go. Yay! I got a shotgun. This sounds like a good idea. 12, 10, 11, 12, let's do it.
We would ride dirt bikes and up and down neighborhoods and making noise and think about calling the cops on ourselves and bet that they couldn't catch us. So that's what we were doing at 12 and 13.
We're Easter week, and we're joking about. I guess this is typically the second most sugar-infused week of the year. You got Halloween, right? Halloween is and then for those that celebrate Easter, it's Easter. So I got to be honest. My kids are 22, 20. I'm pretty sure they had Easter baskets last year. I'm pretty sure.
We'll still get candy. I think we may not put it in a basket. We'll just kind of
I think if we can find it,
or just none of the grass, because that grass will stay around for months.
Just they're part of the sofa. That's how our thing was always. Santa Claus knows that the love seat is for this one and that one, or just So I don't know. And that's the thing everybody knows. My wife does it. I got no clue.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. I'll be surprised.
But do you like Easter candy?
As a kid, always. Yeah, obviously, right? I mean, I do. But I'm to the point now with most things in life like that. I'm this don't bring it in the house kind of guy, right? Yeah. And I'm okay.
Here, I'll eat it.
Yeah, don't. And I've trained myself over the years to stay away usually from candy and stuff like that, just because that's just the joy of being from South Louisiana and my bloodline. You name it, we get it, right? I mean, so it's a constant. You have that checklist when you go to a doctor for the first time with a physical and stuff, family history, right? What is it? What is in your family? But the only thing I don't check is insanity, and I know we got it. We just don't claim it.
You just say that's right, man. It's nobody's got.
I don't got the papers on it, but I'm sure that's plenty of that around too. But you just check all that stuff. But no. So what's your? Do you have favorite? Did you have favorite candies growing up? Favorite Easter candy?
I'm not. I'm not big on the chocolate aspect of things. I like the Reese's and stuff like that, which is chocolate. But the whole is just plain chocolate. I'm not. If I raid my kids' stuff, I go more for the Starburst makes jelly beans.
Oh, I'm not a jelly bean guy, man.
Oh, dude, but only Starburst. And then I just eat them and that's the problem for me. It's like you said, if they're here, I'll eat it until I have almost like just a rush from the sugar. And the only thing that you can cure that rush with is more sugar. So it's just neither of us are doctors. I don't think that's I don't think that's officially. Well, that's my solution.
Doc, this guy, he's just going crazy. He's got too much sugar in him. You know what he needs?
More sugar. Get that guy a candy bar.
Okay, here's what I need. I need a bowl of jelly beans and some Stein syrup on it. Stein syrup. I always call it.
Steen.
I always, yeah, I know. I grew up calling it Steins. It doesn't say Steins. It says Steens right on the.
That's right.
On the beautiful yellow can.
When I was in elementary school, we had candy machines, and it was a nickel, and it was like the old school cigarette machine. You know, put your nickel in, and you pull the slot on the that you wanted.
You think these days about how restrictive we are, and I mean, I'm surprised we didn't have cigarettes. Of course, I say didn't have cigarettes. Teachers could smoke.
Oh yeah, in the lounge, man, it was.
I'm not sure. I don't think I ever had a teacher that smoked in class. I don't think, but I know it wasn't long before I got to elementary school that they stopped that. They would smoke. Yeah, you walked into the teacher's lounge. It smelled like a bar, man. It was the smokiest room. Teachers out just taking out their frustrations on I got to go back to deal with these idiots.
Yeah, I had a job at a place started in the early 90s, and it wasn't long before I started there, only because the CEO had a heart attack, and people used to smoke at their desks the office.
Man, I worked in a place might have been 90-91, and there were and it was an 8-foot ceiling kind of situation. It wasn't a big, it was, and there's probably 5, if not chain smokers, I mean, heavy smokers in this, probably 5 heavy smokers and another 5 or 6 that just like got drug in. They just had.
I worked at an OBGYN hospital.
You go home every day like you'd been to the club or something, right? I mean, you just, it was one of those things. It's like, oh, okay, that's that. And again, parts of the country, only time I ever saw this was late 90s, somewhere in Georgia. It might have been Albany, Georgia. I forget where it was. It was a bank. I was going to work, do something. I was down with a bank, and they walked me into this traditional big branch, and the tellers had ashtrays.
Yeah.
In their teller windows.
Ashtray is disgusting to me.
I just never gonna forget that. It's like, man, the tellers are just, hey, honey, what's your guy?
I worked at an OBGYN hospital, and this is into the 2000s, and I'm not sure when they flipped the rule, but you obviously couldn't smoke in the rooms, but on the labor and delivery floor there was a smoking area, and it was like out on a balcony, and women in labor with an IV would walk themselves out to the balcony and smoke.
Yeah, you try not to judge. It's I get it. It's
you talked about the club aspect. Do you remember that? I mean, I can remember in college, I'd go home and throw the pair of jeans that I had in the club on the side of the bed and wake up the next morning and put them on without thinking about it.
Oh man!
Now, in most places, you can't smoke anymore
because everybody smelled that way. Right. All your friends did. You had to, depending how sensitive.
And I didn't smoke, so it was, but it just didn't bother me.
The Bee Gees.
Yeah.
Man, look. I am sorry. Bee Gees hold up today.
They said there's a documentary out. I haven't seen it on the Bee Gees. That's supposed to be really, really good.
You know what song I got stuck on recently? And because it all goes this. So somewhere I was online doing something, YouTube, or somebody sent something, and it was the take back a long time ago when Saturday Night Live used to actually be funny. Back when they were doing things, back when they were actually trying to be funny, and it was Justin Timberlake and what's his face from Jimmy Fallon would do the Robin Gibbs talk show.
Yeah.
And it's living it up. Oh no, talking it up on the Robin Gibbs, whatever that. And it's just so funny, right? Funny. That's one of those skits that probably ran its course. It was they were hysterical the first few, and they just had, eventually things run. But that song got stuck in my head. So I'd be out grilling or run when I go for a run or something, and Nights on Broadway, man. And I'm just like, that song still holds up. And I'm sorry. I am not even going to. It was funny. I'm saying I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologize. That sort of defeats
negative.
Sort of defeats the purpose when you. I will defend to this day ABBA. ABBA's got 4 or 5 songs that are just, they don't hear a little bit of it, because you got to hear the rest of it, or it's just it's stuck in your head. And I grew up with that. My mom and dad loved ABBA, and my wife, thankfully, same thing. Now we don't walk around playing it all the time, but that's when I have
ABBA on an 8-track. So.
Oh, hey, man, listen, ABBA holds up, and people, they were huge. ABBA was massive, but we started getting a clue that my oldest son was a singer or enjoyed singing when he was in elementary school, because apparently they'd go to wash their hands before lunch in the room, and the teachers could hear him singing ABBA. I forget what song it was he was singing.
That was his hand washing song. So.
Oh, he was singing, and the teacher was laughing, because I can tell y'all must listen to ABBA in the. And remember the teacher saying he's good, he's good. Years later, he's a vocal performance major at college. But
yeah, started in the bathroom where a lot of singers start. So, talking about the Bee Gees, when I worked in Miami for a while, we've talked about that in the past, and we're at some high-end nightclub that, where you had to pay the doorman to get in. I didn't pay. I was working for a political campaign. So somebody
pay the doorman to get, oh geez.
Yeah.
All right.
And the one time in my life I was in a nightclub that somebody was buying expensive champagne. And I saw Andy Gibb, the table on the side of us, and he was drinking a Budweiser. And this is me straight off the bayou. Like I said, probably first and only time ever drinking champagne in a club. So I lifted my glass of champagne to Andy and said, "Yo, Andy, shadow dancing, man." He tipped his can. So,
poor Andy had a problem. That's that was solid gold.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was the host, right?
Yeah, for a while. That was great when they get out there, and you're young, you don't know. Now you go back and watch some of these lip sync. They're all lip syncing out there, and never dawned on me, like, where's all the background singing?
The band.
I hear a whole dang band, and Andy's just out there.
Yeah. There were no wireless mics then, but they had no wires on their mics. We have a mutual friend who works at a TV station here in Baton Rouge, and he sent us both a clip on a story he did about the mullet coming back in style. And I'm saying, did it ever really leave?
Yeah, well, I think it did. I mean, no.
Left style. Trust me, there are people who always had a mullet.
I don't, on purpose. I mean, I think a lot of, and I get it. And this, the piece our friend did was, they were cutting legit.
Yeah.
But now, wait, that said,
what's his name? Achy breaky heart guy that had,
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's the thing with Billy Ray. Everybody talked about Billy Ray having the, he did that. He could pull that off.
Yeah.
And even it looks stupid even on him. And I shouldn't say that. Somebody might be watching this with a mullet. Hey man, rock on, looks good on you. But most guys, unfortunately, we joked about this before. You already walked into a hairstylist with a Rick Springfield album.
That's right, man. Proud.
And said, do that. And that's when the stylist has to look at you and say, that it's not the hair that's doing it, right? So that's my take with people, guys that thought they were getting that haircut, and because they would look like Billy Ray. Billy Ray Cyrus was a dang near male model. I mean, Billy Ray Cyrus is a good looking dude, right? There's some guys that even guys look at and say,
he's still a good looking guy.
That's a good looking man right there. So he can pull that nonsense off. Okay. Most can't. Now I understand it. Because obviously we're from the South. I think up north, it's sort of a tradition with hockey players. A lot of
baseball pitchers have
pitchers did that, right? But then hockey, because there's a guy, Barry Melrose, I think is his name. He's a ESPN commentator, hockey, used to be a coach, and he still sort of has the. So they celebrate the mullet, and I don't know that I ever had one.
I would never admit that. Some people will say I did. I said it was, because it was longer in the back.
Right.
I had more of a David Cassidy shag type thing.
Oh my gosh, I think I love you.
I did have what I call now a perma mullet, where
Perma mullet. Oh, you had the perm.
I had just the back. So I had to have a brush for the front and the top and the sides, and then I'd pick out the back.
I don't know that. I think your hair ends up if looking like a mullet unintentionally because you eventually have to get haircuts too. But I mean, my hair, probably the longest it ever got was, there are wedding pictures of one of my friends. I was in his wedding, and I remember I saw the pictures and thought, dang, looked like I was trying off a white lion. It was, but my hair was really long. That's with all the earrings and stuff. But you would have, you get the top cut,
right?
Yeah. So, but you'd always tell them, no, don't mess with the back. And without knowing it, you weren't walking in there saying, hey, give me the mullet. You were just slowly evolving into the mullet.
Right. It was bi-level.
Where it just comes to the point of you learn later on. If you're going to just let it grow, just let it all grow. So at least it's, Yeah, I have talking about bad habits or interesting habits. I do this a lot, and my wife has an issue with it. Of course, I could probably just take that little clip right there and use it again and again and again. I do this a lot, and my wife has an issue with it. But when I'm out in public, and there are people, I try not to be annoyed as often as I tend to get sometimes. But individuals that are just high maintenance, like it happens a lot in grocery stores when you're in line or you're out in a restaurant, or people that are just, if I should not be aware of you. Right? That's sort of my take on things. Depending on situations, like if right, we're all going about our lives. I'm in a store, I'm doing whatever, I'm in a restaurant, I'm whatever. I should not be constantly aware of your presence. This is not right. Or people that like, it happens in grocery stores all the time. Just high maintenance people. Well, I have a bad habit of taking pictures of
the people.
Oh yeah.
Do they know?
I try not. I try as best I can. They don't, but I'll pretend that I'm on my phone. And I'm just snapping a picture. And because there's some people that make me so annoyed that I don't think I can concentrate on what I need to do right now and give them the full treatment. Like I have to process them and make all the jokes in my head and even if I don't say anything else, even if I don't show the pin, I'll do that a lot too. If somebody's like a real piece of work, I'll take a picture and share a text with friends saying, you won't believe what this idiot, I do that. I'm sorry, I do. But yeah, I sometimes.
It's all about the story, man.
Yeah. Or some people are just like, I don't want to. I got to process you. I got to process you later. I'm just gonna. One day it's gonna bite me. One day somebody's gonna say, "You taking a picture of me?" And then it will escalate. It'll be like, as a matter of fact, I am, because. But he got through it, right? So I was kind of laughing, thinking, "Oh, that's sort of like my meat room experience." Like, oh wait, you're finding out what it was like in the day. Now there are no pig's lips on the
chicken gizzards,
right? But yesterday, I went in and I bought a bunch of shrimp today, and as it turned out, my son, I wanted him to do it, but it cycled and he was helping somebody else, and this other young man helped me, and I said, "Yeah, I want 10 pounds of blah blah blah." And I look over at my son, and he had bagged. He got that part down. He bagged it. He had it all down. And then when they go to leave, to package it, you're supposed to take the bag, put it down. They have the wax paper, white wax paper.
Yeah.
Wrap it. Put the label on it. It immediately dawned on me as I'm watching him do this. That boy has not wrapped many presents in his life, right? he has grown up in the era of you put it in a bag, right? I'm not a great present wrapper either. Like every Christmas, the worst presents wrapped in the house are the ones going to my wife, because I'm the one that's wrapping those. They look terrible. You hide them behind the tree because I'm not good at it. But I'm watching him and I'm thinking, they gave him no instructions on how to wrap this stuff. And I'm trying to you don't want to be the overbearing dad. I just see a train wreck happening in front of me. And the lady he was helping was super nice. Thankfully, he got and he could not get that thing. And he get another piece of tape and another piece of tape.
Yes, ma'am, could you put your finger here?
So I kind of let it go. And then after, I didn't want to get on him, and he finally got it there. And she didn't complain, which good for her, because it wasn't a well wrapped package.
You would have complained. You would have taken pictures of the kid.
I think I would have, but I'd have coached him through it, right? Which is sort of what I did, because what I did after that was this other young man was helping me, right? And I felt better because this other guy was not much better. He was like, "Oh, okay, they brought you guys in the same time. They didn't give you any instructions." So I'm kind of talking to him off my son off the side. Look, man, when you do that, you got to twist the bag tighter. You got to get a bigger. you got to get a bigger
air out of it.
You got to get a bigger piece of paper. Yeah, you get a bigger piece of paper, wrap it tight, and it's okay if you roll it a few times. Put the tape, And I'm thinking to myself, like, why am I having to coach a store employee? But it was my son, so
it's a new gig, man.
He nailed the next one. I did some other things. I came around, I saw him doing his next one was there. So I almost will walk up to the seafood manager saying, "Yo, bro, how about knocking something off that shrimp I got for training?"
Train these two guys.
For training you guys. All right. That's magic time every week. We push the button and let's see if it stuck to tape. Let's see if we got it.
You see, I'm looking up, making sure I still see record.
But we thank you for being with us this week. As always, feel free to reach out. We enjoy reading feedback from you. It's Dave and Juan at protonmail.com.
And
suggestions.
Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get notices when this pops up.
All that stuff. And we look forward to it. We hope each and every one of you have a fantastic week this week. And we look forward to seeing you. Thinking next Monday sounds good.
Next Monday, same time.
All right, man. Love you, buddy.
Peace out, bud.